The jungle was silent. Tall purple trees reached toward the sky. Strange glowing plants lit the ground. The only sound was the soft crunch of boots stepping on dry leaves. Derek moved slowly, his pulse rifle in hand. He was a human soldier, sent alone to scout this forgotten alien planet. The planet was marked as dead, no life signs, no cities, no threats. But now, something was wrong. He had heard it. A cry, not the roar of a beast, not the howl of the wind. A cry soft, broken. Like a girl sobbing. Derek stopped. He turned, his head slowly, listening. There it was again. He stepped off the trail and pushed through thick vines. The cry came again, closer this time. He followed the sound through tangled roots and thorny branches. His armor scratched, but he didn't stop. The crying pulled at him. It didn't sound angry or wild. It sounded scared, hurt, human. But it wasn't human. After a few more minutes, he saw it, a metal door, half buried under moss and dirt. A bunker? Here? Derek scanned it with his device. No power, no signal. But the crying was coming from inside. He knelt, cleared the vines, and pulled the door open with a loud creak. The metal groaned like it hadn't been touched in years. Inside was dark, cold, and smelled like rust. He stepped in carefully. His flashlight lit the inside. Broken machines, dust-covered crates, old wires hanging from the ceiling. And in the back, behind thick bars, a cage. Derek stopped. Inside the cage was a girl. No, not human. Her skin was pale blue. Her hair was long and silver, falling over her face. Her arms were wrapped around her knees, her body thin and trembling. She had no clothes. Only a torn piece of cloth covering part of her. She was crying, tears glowing softly as they slid down her cheeks. When Derek's light hit her, she flinched and backed into the corner, her eyes wide with fear. She was terrified. Derek slowly lowered his rifle and raised one hand. "It's okay," he said softly. "I'm not here to hurt you." The girl didn't answer. She only stared, breathing fast like a scared animal. He took off his jacket and held it out toward her through the bars. "Here, you're cold." She didn't move. "I'm human," he said. "My name's Derek. What's your name?" Still no answer. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. Then finally, a whisper. "Don't hurt me." Her voice was weak, dry, broken. Derek felt something twist in his chest. "I won't," he said. "I promise." He looked at the cage door. It was locked, but the lock was old. He found a broken pipe nearby and jammed it into the lock. With a loud snap, the door opened. The girl didn't move. He stepped closer and placed the jacket gently beside her. "Take this. Cover yourself, I'll help you." Slowly, she reached out with shaking hands and pulled the jacket around her small frame. Her eyes stayed on him, afraid, but curious now. "What's your name?" He asked again. "Sorry." She whispered. "Sorry," Derek repeated. "Okay, sorry. You're safe now." He looked around the bunker. The walls had old tools, chains, and dried blood. Someone had used this place as a prison. Who did this? And why? He looked back at Sari. Her arms were thin. Her feet had marked scars from bindings. She had been here a long time. He wanted to ask more. But suddenly, clank! A noise echoed from outside. Derek froze. Sari's eyes widened. "They're coming," she whispered in fear. "Who?" Derek asked. She shook her head, tears falling again. "Please, don't let them take me back." Derek gripped his rifle. Whoever they were, they weren't going to take her. He looked at her and nodded. "We're getting out of here, right now." He helped her to her feet. She was weak. She leaned on him, her body shaking. Derek held her close and guided her toward the door. As they stepped outside, the wind howled, and somewhere in the jungle, heavy footsteps began to approach. The wind howled like a warning. Derek moved fast through the jungle, carrying Sari in his arms. She was light, too light, Her skin was cold. Her eyes half closed, her head resting against his chest. She didn't speak, but he could feel her fear. Behind them, deep in the trees, something moved, quiet, watching. He had no time to stop. No time to rest. After a mile of thick vines and sharp branches, Derek spotted an old scout shelter, a steel pod half covered in moss. He kicked the door open, stepped inside, and closed it quickly. The silence inside felt strange. Safe for now. Derek gently placed Sari on a blanket he had packed. He opened a small heater and turned it on. Warmth filled the air. Sari shivered under his jacket, staring at him with big, watery eyes. "You're safe," Derek said again, trying to calm her. "They didn't follow us." Her lips moved. A whisper. "They always find me." He knelt beside her. Who are they?" Sari didn't answer. Instead, she looked around the shelter like she'd never seen anything so peaceful. Then her voice came, soft and scared. Why did you take me from the cage?" Derek blinked. "What do you mean?" "No one ever opens the door," she said. "They come, they laugh, they watch, but no one opens the cage." He clenched his fists. "Because they're monsters," he said. "You're not a thing to watch, you're a person." She looked at him with wide eyes. Person. Derek opened a food pack and handed her a protein bar. She looked at it like it was a magic item. She bit slowly. Her hands shook as she chewed. He sat beside her, trying to understand. "How long were you in there, Sari?" She closed her eyes. "I don't know, many darks, many days, maybe years." He noticed something shiny on her neck, a thin metal collar with red lights. Some kind of control device. He reached for it gently. "Can I see this?" She flinched but nodded. As he turned it carefully, he noticed something etched on the inside. Project 7. Subject, a class energy source. He frowned. Project? Energy source? She wasn't a prisoner. She was a test subject. His voice grew serious. "Sorry, did someone do tests on you?" She nodded slowly. "They call me ... battery. They say I glow." "I don't understand. I only feel pain." Derek's heart pounded. They weren't just keeping her locked up. They were using her. She wasn't just some helpless alien girl. She was something rare and powerful. Derek stood and walked to his gear. He pulled out his scanner and checked the collar. It was powered, but weak. He could break it with the right tools. Then, something in the corner of his screen blinked. A code. Human code. He stared at it in disbelief. A military signature. He had seen this pattern before on Earth, during Black Ops missions. This wasn't alien tech. It was human. Derek looked back at Sari, who was now hugging her knees. He whispered to himself, "This was done by my people." Sudden cold crept up his spine. He was sent to this planet to scout it. But what if that was a lie? What if he was sent here to make sure no one found her? Sari looked up. "You're not like them," she said softly. "No," he replied, his jaw tight. "I'm not." Then a beep. His comlink lit up. A message flashed on the cracked screen. "Recon Unit Bravo 2, confirm status. Asset must not be removed from containment. Do not engage unless necessary." Derek's blood ran cold. They knew he found her. They were watching. He shut off the device and crushed it under his boot. Sari stared at him in shock. Why did you do that?" "Because you're not going back in that cage," he said. "Not while I'm breathing." She looked at him, and for the first time her tears stopped. But outside, in the dark jungle, a drone hovered. Its red eye blinked and zoomed in on the pod. It started with a whisper. Not from Sari, not from Derek. From the jungle itself. A low, buzzing whisper that crawled into the shelter through cracks in the metal walls, like the sound of a machine breathing. Derek stood still. His eyes moved to the scanner screen, now flashing red. Target locked. Warning, hostile unit nearby. And then silence. No birds. No wind. No mercy. He grabbed his gear, grabbed Sari's hand and whispered, "We need to go, now." Sari was still weak, but she stood, holding his jacket tight around her body. "What is it?" she asked, voice trembling. "They found us," he said. Outside, a small recon drone hovered above the trees. Its red eye glowed as it scanned the shelter. A soft click came from under its belly. Derek didn't wait. He kicked open the back hatch and pulled Sari into the trees behind the pod. A second later, boom. The shelter exploded, fire lighting up the dark trees. Sari let out a cry, stumbling from the noise. Derek pulled her behind a thick root. "We can't stay in one place," he said. "They'll keep sending more." She clutched his arm. "They want me because of what's inside me." He looked at her. "Then we'll make sure they never get it." They ran through roots, mud, and glowing mushrooms. Derek led, cutting branches with a plasma knife. Sari followed, barefoot and shaking. But she didn't stop. The night was alive with danger. Somewhere far behind, engines roared. A dropship had arrived. They were serious now. Derek checked his map. There was a cave system just a few miles ahead. If they could reach it, they might be safe for a while. He looked at Sari. She was slowing down. "I can carry you," he said, but she shook her head. "I can walk." "I'm not useless," Derek smiled. Even now, she had fight in her. "You're not useless, Sari," he said. "You're stronger than anyone I've met." She smiled back, but it was weak. After another half hour, they reached a high rock wall. "This is it," Derek said. "Cave's just behind that ridge." Sari tried to climb but slipped. Derek caught her. He carried her again, his arms strong. His breathing rough but steady. At the top, he saw it, the entrance to a dark cave, wide and deep. He ducked inside with Sari in his arms. Inside it was silent. Cold stone. No light. He activated a small glowing orb and placed it on the ground. It lit up the space around them. Sari lay on a flat rock, trying to catch her breath. Derek looked around. Strange symbols covered the cave walls, etched deep into the stone. He walked closer. Some looked like stars, others like figures. Tall ones with glowing eyes, but one carving made him freeze. It was a picture of a girl, thin, long-haired, and with light pouring from her body. He turned to Sari. She was staring at the same image. "That's me," she whispered. Derek walked back to her. "How?" She shook her head. "I don't know. I've never seen this." He sat beside her. "Maybe someone knew you would come here." Suddenly, Sari grabbed her side in pain. Her body pulsed with faint light under her skin. She gasped. "It's waking up." "What is?" Derek asked. "The energy. They said I was a living core, but they didn't know what I could really do." Derek looked worried. "Is it hurting you?" She nodded. "If I don't release it, I burn inside." He thought for a moment. "Can you control it?" "I never tried. They never let me." He took her hand. "Then try now. No cages. No fear." She closed her eyes. Her hands began to glow soft blue light, swirling around her fingers. The light touched the cave wall. The symbols started to glow back. A wave of energy pulsed from the walls, and the cave began to hum. Derek stood up, scanning the walls. "What is this place?" Then he saw old machines hidden in the stone, now powering up. This cave was not natural. It was ancient. And waiting for her, Sari opened her eyes. "This place knows me." Derek looked toward the cave entrance. In the distance, he saw lights moving through the jungle. "They're getting close," he said. Sari stood now, her legs shaking but her eyes glowing. She wasn't a prisoner anymore, and outside, the night held its breath. The cave was no longer just a hiding place. It was alive. The walls glowed with ancient blue light. Symbols moved slowly, like they were breathing. The air felt warmer, softer, like it remembered her. Sari stood in the center, glowing faintly. Her bare feet touched the smooth stone floor. She didn't shiver anymore. Derek watched her from a few steps away. She looked different now, not just scared and broken. Something inside her had changed. He stepped closer. "Sorry, what is this place?" She touched one of the glowing symbols gently with her fingers. "It's part of me. Or maybe I'm part of it." The wall responded to her touch. A ring of light spread out, and suddenly a vision appeared. In the air, a memory, a floating image. Derek saw her. Sorry, but younger. Her skin shining brighter. She stood among tall alien beings with glowing robes. They bowed to her. He whispered, "You were royalty?" Sari looked down. Her voice was quiet. "No, not royalty. A protector. I was born with energy inside me. My people called me the last light." She looked at the vision. Her face in it was full of peace. But peace never lasts. The vision changed. Ships exploded. Buildings fell. Sari ran, surrounded by fire. Soldiers chased her. A large metal cage dropped from the sky. The vision ended. Silence filled the cave again. Derek couldn't speak for a moment. Then softly, "How did you end up in that cage I found you in?" Sari sat on the ground, pulling the jacket tight around her body again. "They sold me," she whispered. "My people died. I was taken, passed from hand to hand. Scientists, hunters, traitors. No one asked who I was, only what I was worth." She touched the collar still around her neck. "To them, I was a battery, a living power source. I was just a thing." Derek's fists clenched. "You're not a thing," he said firmly. "You're a person. You have a name, a soul." Her eyes watered again, but no tears fell this time. "You're the first one." "Whoever said that?" He sat beside her. The cave hummed gently around them, like it approved. "I saw that vision," he said. "You were powerful. You still are." "No," she said. "I'm broken. My power is dangerous. I can't control it. If I try to fight, I might hurt you. Or myself." Derek looked her in the eyes. "You've already survived worse than most soldiers I've known. That's not weakness. That's strength." Sari stared at him, surprised. No one had ever called her strong before. Only dangerous. Or useful. She reached up and touched the collar again. "I want this off," she said. "I don't want to feel like a prisoner anymore." Derek nodded. "Let me try." He pulled a tool from his belt, a small arc cutter. He studied the collar. The red lights were blinking, slowly now fading. The power source was almost gone. "Hold still," he said. Carefully he sliced through the metal. Sparks flew. The collar hissed. Then it popped open and fell to the ground. Sari gasped softly, touching her bare neck. Her eyes widened. "It's gone," she whispered. "It's really gone." Derek smiled. "You're free now." For the first time she smiled too. Not a full smile, but the beginning of one. She stood and walked to the glowing wall again. She touched a symbol. Another light appeared, a map of the planet. Derek stood beside her. "Is that where they took you from?" She nodded and pointed. "To a small island far to the north. There was a temple," she said. "I was trained there. But I haven't seen it since I was taken." He looked at her. "Do you want to go back?" She hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, I need answers, and maybe I can learn how to control what's inside me." Derek rested a hand on her shoulder. "Then we'll go." She looked at him. "Serious now. It's dangerous. They'll come after us." He smiled. "Let them try." Suddenly a sound echoed from outside the cave. A sharp click. Then a high-pitched WHIR. Derek turned fast. A flying probe hovered just outside the cave. Its red eye flashed and it flew off. "They found us again," he said. "And now they know where we're going." Sari's eyes narrowed. The light inside her began to flicker again. "No more cages," she said. "No more running." Derek answered, The cave lights dimmed as the fight ahead lit up in both their hearts. It didn't rain on the jungle that night. The sky simply wept in silence. But high above the clouds, a silver ship pierced through like a blade, cold, fast, and silent. It didn't come to explore. It didn't come to save Dot, it came to collect Dot inside. A hologram of Sari floated in red light marked as live asset, class a high value. Beside it, a message blinked on a soldier's visor, 500,000 credits. Return alive, dead worth less. Far below, in the dense jungle, Derek felt the storm building. He adjusted the cloak over Sari's shoulders as they hiked toward the northern river. Her strength had returned slightly, but the fear never fully left her eyes. Not fear of the jungle, fear of being caught again. She looked up. They're coming. I can feel it. Derek nodded. Yeah, they're not giving up. He pulled out a small signal jammer from his pack and crushed it underfoot. We go dark from here on. Sari watched, then asked, Why are you helping me? You could have left me in that cage, walked away. Derek looked at her. Because I was a soldier once. And I followed orders that hurt people I didn't even know. Not this time. He paused. And because you deserve better than being hunted. Like an animal. She stared at him a moment, her eyes softening. Suddenly, a sound behind them. Snap. Derek pushed her behind a tree. He raised his pulse rifle, aimed toward the noise, but it was just a small lizard scurrying over a log. Still. Something felt wrong. They kept moving. An hour later, they reached the river. The water was black and quiet. Mist floated above its surface. On the other side, an old transport station could be seen through the fog. One of the last working vehicles on the planet waited inside. A hover skiff once used for cargo. Almost. There, Derek said. But Sari didn't move. She stood still, staring at something on the riverbank. A small metal sign stuck in the ground. Her face went pale. What is it? Derek asked. She pointed slowly. That symbol. It means hunter. Territory. Before Derek could speak, a voice rang out from the trees behind them. Well. She's smarter than she looks. Derek turned fast. 3 figures stepped out of the shadows. Black armor, human. One of them wore a familiar face. Captain Rourke, Derek's former commander. Derek, Rourke said with a smirk, didn't expect you to go soft. Derek raised his weapon. You're not taking her. Oh, I think I am, Rourke replied. You know how much she's worth? He tossed a hologram disc in the air. It floated between them. Sari's face appeared again, spinning slowly. 500,000 credits. Classified asset. Alive preferred. Derek's eyes narrowed. She's not an asset. She's a person. Rourke shrugged. You really want to throw away your future for some glowing alien girl? Derek didn't blink. Yes. Without warning, he fired. One of the soldiers dropped instantly. Rourke dove for cover. Take him down. Derek pulled Sari behind the tree and returned fire. His shots were fast, clean. Years of training kicked in. Sari covered her ears. The light in her hands started to flicker again. Derek, she cried. I can't control it. What if I hurt you? Then aim it at them. He shouted. Sari took a deep breath. She stepped out from cover, hands glowing, eyes shining brighter than ever before. The enemy aimed at her. Too late. FWOOM. A wave of light exploded from her chest. The blast pushed trees, shattered rocks, and knocked the soldiers flying like dolls. Silence followed. Derek stood up slowly. Rourke groaned on the ground. One arm crushed under debris. Sari walked up to him, light fading from her skin. He looked up at her in fear. She spoke, voice calm but firm. You don't get to own people anymore. He tried to reach for his weapon. Derek walked over and kicked it away. You'll live, Derek said. But next time she decides. He helped Sari walk back toward the river. As they stepped onto the hover skiff, Derek looked back one last time. Rain began to fall again, finally, but this time, it felt clean. Asterisk blood stained the morning mist. Broken helmet rolled down the jungle slope, its visor cracked in half. Smoke floated up from blackened trees. The river behind them was quiet again, but the fight had just begun. Derek pressed a cloth to the burn on his shoulder, wincing. Across from him, Sari sat on the skiff's edge, staring at her hands. They were still glowing faintly. "I didn't want to hurt them," she whispered, "but I had to." Derek looked at her. "That's not weakness. That's strength with mercy." She didn't reply. Her eyes were heavy, not from sleep, but from memories. He sat beside her. "We have one last ride. Temple's not far now." Sari nodded slowly, but in her chest, she felt something changing. Her energy didn't just flicker anymore, it pulsed. Like something inside her was waking up completely. The skiff glided over the shallow river, slipping between tall trees and hanging vines. After an hour of silence, the forest opened into a wide valley. There it stood, half in ruins, half glowing with ancient life, the Temple of Lights. Tall stone towers reached toward the clouds. Symbols floated in the air like drifting leaves. The temple pulsed with the same soft blue light that came from Sari's body. Her breath caught in her throat. I remember this place. I was born here." They stepped off the skiff and walked toward the steps, but before they could reach the entrance, a voice echoed from above, "Step away from the girl." Derek spun, rifle raised. A large gunship hovered over the cliff. 6 soldiers dropped from the sides, surrounding them, and behind them, descending in a black coat, Commander THA Lost, not human, tall. Silver eyes. Skin like dark glass. A hybrid of alien and machine. He smiled coldly. "Hello, Project 7. Or should I call you Sari?" Sari stepped back, shaking. Derek aimed his rifle. "Stay away from her." Thalos raised a hand. "Calm, soldier. I don't want to kill you. Just give me the girl." "You've done enough." Derek didn't move. "She's not going with you." Thalos looked at Sari. "You were built to power a planet, little light. You don't belong with a human." Sari whispered, "I'm not a weapon." "No." Thalos tilted his head. "Then show me what you are." The soldiers rushed in. Derek fired first, dropping one. But there were too many. He pushed Sari behind a stone wall. "Stay down." He fought hard, his body moving on instinct. He took 2 more down, but a blast caught him in the leg. He fell with a grunt. "Derek!" Sari screamed. The pain in his leg flared, but he reached for another clip. Too late. Thalos stepped forward, raising a glowing blade. "Enough, you die here." He struck downward, but the blade never landed. A wall of light rose between them. Sari had thrown up her hand, eyes blazing. "You don't touch him," she said, her voice echoing unnaturally. Her body floated off the ground slightly. Power poured from her chest. The air shook. The ancient temple lit up, answering her call. THA Lost growled, "You don't even know how to control it." Sari's light surged again, and this time she did. The temple itself responded. Runes on the walls lit up. A beam of light exploded from the top tower, striking Thalos and sending him flying back. The other soldiers dropped their weapons and fled in terror. Sari landed softly. Breathing hard, she ran to Derek, who was bleeding and barely conscious. No, stay with me," he smiled weakly. "Guess you're not useless, huh?" She placed her hand on his chest. "Let me try something." Blue light flowed from her palm into his wound. His breath slowed. The bleeding stopped. His eyes cleared. He looked at her in awe. "You healed me." She nodded, tears in her eyes. "No more cages. No more running. I want to choose my life." Derek smiled. "Then I'll walk beside you, wherever it leads." Above them, The temple's beacon shot into the sky, calling out across space. The universe now knew. Project 7 had awakened, and she was no longer anyone's prisoner. The light had stopped screaming. For the first time in her life, Sari's power wasn't a storm inside her. It was calm. It was hers. The temple stood quiet now, its towers humming like a gentle breath. The battle was over. Smoke from the broken gunship drifted into the clouds, and in the center of the ruins, Derek sat under a carved stone arch, his shirt torn, leg bandaged, eyes scanning the sky. He had been silent for a long time. Sari walked up beside him, barefoot, the jacket still around her shoulders, though she didn't seem to need it anymore. She wasn't shivering. She wasn't crying. She wasn't afraid. "Do you regret it?" she asked softly. He looked up at her. "What?" "Saving me," he smiled. "Every scar was worth it." She sat beside him, looking at the horizon. "I thought I would die in that cage," she whispered. "I thought maybe that's what I was made for." Derek shook his head. "You weren't made for pain. You were made to light up the dark, and you still can." Sari smiled, a full smile this time, gentle, beautiful, free. But their peace didn't last long. From the sky, small blinking lights appeared distant, but coming closer. Ships. Dozens of them. Sari tensed. More soldiers? Derek raised his scanner, but no alert came. Instead, a transmission crackled through the air. "Project 7, we received your beacon. Please respond. We are not your enemies. We are what's left of your people." Sari's eyes widened. "My people?" The largest ship descended slowly and hovered above the temple. A ramp opened. A tall woman stepped out, dressed in robes of soft light. Her skin shimmered like Sari's. Her eyes glowed blue. She looked at Sari with awe. "We thought you were lost forever." Sari stepped forward, unsure. "Who are you?" "I am Lyra," the woman said. "I was a guardian before the fall. We've searched the stars for you. You were our last hope, the last light bearer." Tears filled Sari's eyes. "I thought I was alone." Lyra stepped forward and gently touched her face. "You were never alone. The universe just hid you until you were ready." Derek watched quietly. He felt something strange in his chest. Pride, relief, and fear, because maybe now she didn't need him anymore. Sari turned back and walked to him. "Derek," she said, "come with me." He looked surprised. "You want me there?" "I'm not leaving you," she said. "You gave me a name, a reason to believe I could be more than a tool. You didn't just free me from that cage. You saved me from myself." He stood. "I'm not a light bearer. I'm just a tired soldier." She smiled. "You're more than that to me." Lyra stepped forward. "If he's your protector, he is welcome." Sari reached out, and Derek took her hand. Together, they stepped into the light of the ship. As the engines hummed and the ship rose, the jungle below faded into distance. The temple slowly disappeared behind clouds, becoming just a memory. But the cage would never be remembered. Only the choice to open it. Weeks later, in a sky city floating above a calm alien ocean, Derek stood by a balcony. He wore new clothes. Now no weapons. No armor, just peace. Beside him, Sari flew gently into the air, training with other light-bearers. She laughed, a sound he'd never heard from her before. When she landed beside him, glowing with energy and joy, she asked, "So, do you still think I'm dangerous?" He grinned. "Only when you're hungry." She laughed harder, then rested her head on his shoulder. He wrapped an arm around her. And for the first time since he stepped on that forgotten world, he didn't feel like a soldier anymore. He felt like a man who had chosen to do the right thing and been given a new world in return.